He knows I'm gonna see it. Abso-fucking-lutely. What a fucking video, by the way.
Something
oh my
that's
god. I will say that he got almost everything right. He did. He got almost everything right about it. Now, obviously, this, like, so the way that I live is, like, I do end up, like, yeah, I live like an animal. I definitely do. So, was right? Yeah, points video. No, I don't take any of it personally. Like, Beth, you actually hired an interior designer. Oh, I was going to have somebody renovate the house. I was going to have it done for my mom, but my mom didn't want to have it done. No, sorry, I didn't do it because then COVID started happening, and because she was like compromised, and she wouldn't get the vaccine either, and so like I was like, okay, well, there's no way that I can have people in here doing work, like no way, and so yeah, that's the reason why it never happened. Because I would have done that in general. So, yeah, I mean, I think for me is, like, the reason I started living like that is that, like, growing up, like, I always felt like I wasn't really a normal person. I wasn't really a person. I was like an animal, right? Or like some sort of, like, between an animal and a person. Because I just felt like I never really connected with people. People didn't really like me a lot. And like, you know, and like, no, really, right? I wouldn't be able to like interact with people a furry. No, like, I think a good way to explain it is like a homunculus or like a golem, right? It's like you look like a person, you act like a person, but you're not really a person. That's always the way that I felt about myself, like growing up, because of how much, like, I had like a number of like pretty weird friction points growing up where it was like kind of a shock for me to see like kind of how much different I was than other people. And I think that after doing that, and then growing, also like I didn't really get along, like, you know, never had girls like me. I didn't really have like the normal, like, you know, like I guess growing up experience that a lot of people did. And I was always treated quite badly in that respect too. And I thought to myself, like, well, you know, if I live this way, and even despite living this way, like people don't like me and I still feel like shit, and people still, like, you know, don't want to be around me and don't like me, what's the point of trying to take care of yourself? What's the point of trying to do this? Like, why am I trying to fix myself if the fixed version of myself, people don't want it anyway? People never liked me anyway, so who cares? For yourself, I don't care about myself. That's not important to me. What was mattered to me is the way people see me. Like, and I will tell you how much that's true. I have these side of my teeth fixed because I usually look at my monitor from this side. My teeth here are missing because I never felt like fixing those, because people don't see that a lot on camera, so it's not that big of a deal. That's the only reason that one side of my teeth is fixed and the other one isn't. It's because this is the side I usually am seen on camera. That's it. Asceticism, content brain? Yeah, exactly, right? And you can see it all the time. Yeah, I probably should get it fixed. I might do that at some point. But yeah, no, I live like a degenerate. I live like an animal. And I think that it took me a long time to, like, because it was weird, right, growing up. And especially, like, having a lot of the, like, I had, like, friends that, like, were able to go forward and, like, do things in their life that, you know, I was very, like, I was envious of, right? It's like, I growing up, like, I had to help my mom. Like, I had to take a lot of, like, my student loan money and, like, any money that I made and, like, give all that money to her because, like, she wasn't getting a job. And, like, if I didn't do that, then she'd be homeless. And I like, I mean, how could I take care of her, right? And so I had to do that. And so I couldn't really go out and live a life the way that, you know, I think a lot of other people, like, would naturally want to, right? I couldn't go out and do, you know, live in an apartment with, like, other friends of mine. I couldn't go and, you know, have different types of experiences that, you know, people had growing up. And, you know, then my teeth started falling out and it's like everything in my life was awful, right? Is he making this up? No, I mean, I wish. I mean, you can go back and look at the videos yourself, right? I mean, like, I mean, I've recorded everything in my life, right? It's not like it's a big secret. Effective relationships as well. Yeah, exactly. Like, I couldn't really have a girlfriend because, like, I was dealing with this. And then I had other issues. I didn't have money to go out or do anything. And so, yeah, it's never good enough. No, yeah, and that's it. And so that happened a lot, and it 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 got to the point to where like I had to, because I cared a lot about what people thought about me when I was like I would say, how old was I? Maybe like I would say 15 and under, right? Something like that, 15 and under. I really cared a lot about it. And then growing up, I realized that people would never really, it doesn't matter like what clothes I wear, how I act, anything like that. People are never going to like me, right? It's not like, I can convince people that I'm not what I am. So I stopped giving a fuck. And so my entire life, I think, has been, in a lot of cases, a process of caring about less things as possible, right? Where it's like, growing up, I've had to stop caring about the way that people felt about me and how people perceived me. Then, having to deal with like my mom and then like my dad getting like super fucking sick. I had to like try to disconnect and like, come to terms with the fact that like I'm going to lose and have everybody around me die, right? And that already happened with my mom. And so that was really awful, and it was hard for me to come to terms with that, and I still haven't really entirely. And like now I'm getting older, right? And I'm, I see my friends of mine as like, getting gray hair, and I sometimes I get afraid of like kind of getting older and dying, but I try not to think about it as much anymore or care anymore, because it doesn't like, there's nothing like you can do about it. It doesn't make a difference. Like balding, yeah, balding, absolutely. My friend came over yesterday, completely fucking bald. Yeah, exactly. And so I had that happen, and so I had to like, now I'm kind of much more in the process of trying to just, separate myself from like the way I look or anything like that, like my self-image. Like I try not to, and this is like something that happened like when I lost my teeth, right? Because like losing your teeth and like having all your teeth falling out and like rotting whenever you're like, ages like 20 to like 25, right? That's like insanely bad. Like people look at you and they're just like, it's disgusting. And it was, because it is disgusting. And so it's like you have to develop a certain degree of like, like you can look in a mirror and you can see yourself, but like you think about it as like it's like an intellectual perspective, where it's like, you don't really see yourself as like, you don't have an emotional attachment to the way that you look or like what you are. And I felt like I had to develop that a lot in my life. And then now I'm even having to do that with myself as an individual, because obviously I'm getting older. I've had like issues with my back, etc. And I've been very lucky, right, that nothing else like that has happened. But, like learning to let go of yourself is a pretty hard thing to do. But yeah, no, and there's a lot more to it, right? And like experiences I've had, growing up especially. And so I try not to think about it or care at all, because I think in the end it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, I don't, like, I'm not a big believer in like an afterlife or anything like that. I think that's all just bullshit that people tell themselves so they can feel better about, the fact that, people are just fucking nothing, right? It's just meat. And so, yeah, that's the way I've seen it. And I have a very dark outlook on life and pretty much everything. And I think that the more that I explain my perspective of things, the darker it gets. And so I think a lot of those things contributed to like the way that I live. And so I think that's a lot of the reasons why I did it. It's not a crude matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's whatever, right? But that's the way it happens. You're dark and kind of real. No, I try to be realistic about it as much as possible. And do you believe in God? No, it's fake. It's possible, right? It's definitely possible. I just don't think it's happening. Like, I don't think there's any proof for it. And I think that it's a cope. Do you believe in free will? I do, in general, yeah. About family, wife, and the kids. Growing up, I always assumed that I would die alone because of how weird I am and like how much like I guess like this is a really weird way to say it, is that people feel like they feel something whenever they touch another person, And I remember, like, whenever I first had, like, a girlfriend and stuff, I always hoped that I would feel that way, but it just felt the same to me as touching, like, a chair. Like, I never really felt anything, like, being around or anyone. And I realized that, like, you know, again, I'm like an animal or something. Like, I don't even know. And so, yeah, I figure, fuck it, I might as well live like an animal, too. So it's fucking hilarious? I know. I know, I don't even, yeah, that's the way it is. And, when based women are chairs. Well, hey, you know, like, there it is. Try touching a dude. That's a good one. I like that. And I've internalized a lot of people enjoy your content. No, that's fine. I know that people like me. Right, yeah, of course. Your extreme case. Yeah. No, that's the way I see it, too. And, yeah, it was a very, very weird realization. I remember I was, like, in 6th grade whenever I started to, like, really realize that about myself. And, like, again, I think that it's a, it's like if you think of an onion, there are just, like, more and more layers of it. And the more layers, the worse it gets. So, that's basically it. There's a reason why I'm in my house that has mold and garbage and animals everywhere, living in mold, trash, blood on the wall, and this is just the way I by myself with the doors locked. So you're Shrek? I'm Shrek, but I'm not fat. Yes. Were you ever resentful of your parents whenever you were younger? Absolutely. Of course I was. Yeah, sure. This sounds like the dissection of the personality of a serial killer. For sure. For sure. Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, there you go. Brother, why did you get your teeth rotten at such a young age? I just never brushed them. Bad genetics was a part of it, right? I mean, for sure, but it was only a part of it. That was it. You'd be surprised at how many felt the same way growing up. Oh, it doesn't matter to me how many people feel the same way that I do. If people feel the same way, that's great, but, like, I'm not looking for validation. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I've moved past that. And also keep in mind that there's probably a lot more to this that I don't really tell people because it would change their perception of me in a way that it would be too much. And so I'm not fully displaying my power level of being crazy. It's just a it's just a small part of it. But yeah. You ever genuinely cared to know why you are the way you are? No. It's not relevant. It's not important. It doesn't matter. Are you gonna make upgrades to the house? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so either. Is that also you guys think I have autism? I don't know. Like, I feel like, let me link you guys this video. I find it to be so flattering that people are making 40-minute videos about me like I'm some kind of a fucking like Bigfoot or something. I think it's growing up, like, I never thought it would get this far. I'm gonna be honest, I never did. Give it a like. This is amazing. Oh my god. Yeah, it was fucking crazy in Enigma. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I'm told I have Asperger's, but I think being told that I have it did more damage than maybe actually having it. Yeah, I have a lot of the, a lot of the, what do you call it? The commonalities of having, like, autism or something like that. But I honestly, I don't necessarily think that I do. I think that, I think what's wrong with me is a lot worse, to be honest. Like, autism is like a mild dysfunction. What you're talking about is being 180 degrees in the wrong way. So, yeah. What would happen if you showed your craziness in full? Oh, I don't know. Without knowing more, it's not trauma? Yeah, sure. I mean, people have, like, whatever opinions they want, right? So, yeah. Somebody have I have the game Faith is in your house? Yeah, it's a lot, man. Yours are just situational. Good thing you became a streamer. Yeah, I like streaming a lot. I've always liked making videos. I was going to go to law school, and I was, you know, finishing a degree in computer information systems whenever I dropped out. and I have a degree in business and business administration, which is basically cosmetic. It doesn't really matter. And so, yeah, there was that. And I wanted to become a lawyer because I realized that you could use the law to scam people, because my friend Jason in high school knew all the rules to Magic the Gathering, and he could figure out a way to like shift rules in a way that would make him win the games and people couldn't argue with him. And I thought to myself, I bet lawyers can do the same thing in real life, and I can do this to other people, and so I want to learn everything about it so I can do it to them. And so that's why I wanted to go into law. That was the reason. And so I never really followed through with that, but that was the reason. Code of ethics. Well, again, that's not really the way I looked at it, but that was it. Went to law school for the same reason. Yeah, exactly. Similar to how you think lying is cheating, but legally. Yeah, exactly. I'll read a few of the comments. I can't wait for the 4-hour dissection of this by Asmon. Yeah, there it is. Please clean yourself. This is so annoying. Yeah, sure. I didn't shower for 6 weeks straight, which resulted in me getting pneumonia. What the fuck? Bronchitis, 103-degree fever. I had to cut 6 inches off my hair because I had a bit tangled. Ah, come on. Yeah, you got, it's not so bad. 6 weeks. Asmon lives online. His house is his prison. I like that. I think Pink Sparkle is breaking up because he refused to leave his house, refused to leave Austin, refused to travel with her, or meet her family is peak need. There it is. True. Let's see here. I use Asmon's house as motivation to clean my apartment. His minimalistic approach to life, despite his colossal earnings, absolutely baffles me. Well, it's because I don't view any of that stuff as mattering. It just isn't. It doesn't mean anything to me. That's really it. Like, yeah, sorry. And whenever I say that, like, I have a nice new Mercedes, right? I got a 2024 car. Whenever I say I don't care, there's like a degree of like people that say they don't care because they try to find pride in like having things that are cheap. I'm not like that. Whenever I say I don't care, I mean I don't care. Like, if you want to give me a really expensive car, as long as it doesn't like, draw attention to me, that's fine. If you want to give me a piece of shit, that's fine too. It's okay because, as I said before, I don't care. So there it is. Under 1%. Oh, I mean, that month, it certainly wasn't. Yeah, that was like 60K, like 50, 60K, something like that. Yeah. You're a car guy? No, not really. Not at all. Hardly. Does it have a soda holder? It does. Yes, it has 2 of them. I'm 40 and I'm gonna wash my teeth. I have 4 fake ones, probably 5 the next year or something like that. Well, good for you. It's a good start. You know, a brand of Mercedes? It's like I think a 300 or something like that. I don't know. I think C300. Yeah, how's the stereo sound? Oh, it's fine. Yeah. Did you get insurance? I have to. It's legally required. Oh, yeah. No, I don't, I don't do anything wrong or anything like that. I try to be a good boy and not break any rules or do anything that I'm not supposed to do. I'll read a couple more of these and, what do you call it? And then I figure we'll probably play that Swarm game. I have to download League of Legends to play Swarm, right? So I downloaded the game so I can try it out. Yeah? Okay. Alright, yeah, I'll try that in a bit. Do you think you're a sociopath? I don't know. Yeah, I think that if I answer that question, because it's not a yes or no, I think I shouldn't answer that. Craziest Asmon wore for me was watching a stream of some friends feeding him fruit for the first time in his life. Man. Yep. Did you have good grades in school? I had nearly perfect grades in every standardized test, and I was good enough in school that whenever I would start in the 6 weeks or like the semester, I would figure out by reverse engineering the values how much each different project and assignment would cost on my final grade, and I would min-max myself getting a 70. And I would do as little work as possible. There would be like huge assignments that I would just not do because I knew like this was only 8% of my grade. And so like it's fine, I can just skip it. Yep, same, exactly. I was the same way. Sounds like ADHD. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. But no, I remember like they had me take like the SAT whenever I was like 12, and then also I was the only person, like I was like 9 people in like my whole school that like passed and was able to like take college classes for like all of the subjects, and I was one of them. And so No, I mean, I always like, it's not like I was like stupid, right? It's just that I didn't give a fuck. I never did. I was like 12, yeah. And, I mean, on an IQ test? No, I don't really think I have a particularly high IQ. Like, I don't think I'm very smart. I'm just very good at remembering things. And high, like, basically being able to remember things and being non-emotional is perceived as intelligence. And so people think that I'm smarter than I am. So that's really what it is. Is efficient? Yeah. IQ tests are fake anyway? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Does he watch the I'm a woman sitting at the table with the blue suit? No, no. Being able to remember everything is a cheat code? Yeah, it is. It's... And I think, like, that's a really good example where it's, like, that's one of the reasons why I don't really feel bad about, like, other people. Because, like, about, like, not being the same way as other people. Is that because I can remember things and I can, like, know things the same way. Like, this is a huge advantage that I have over other people. And it's not really something I've, like, learned or earned or anything like that. It's just how I am. And so, you know, there's different people. They're going to have different advantages for different things. And so that's just one of mine. Yeah, the grass is always greener. Yeah, exactly. Have you commented on Biden stepping down? Yeah, I think it was a good decision. I think it's the best decision for him as a person. And I hope he's able to, like, retire and, you know, have some degree of dignity and spend time with his family, and he's okay. I mean, you know, for better or for worse, the guy was this public servant for 50 years, and he was our president, and, you know, I support him. Always support the president. And so, yeah, I hope he's able to, you know, retire with dignity and grace. And I'm not a big fan of Biden. I don't really like a lot of things he's said. But he's still the president, and I still support him. Yeah, let him take a rest, yeah. It's been 50 years. The guy deserves a fucking break.